What if I told you the universe is always listening? Not to your words, but to your thoughts. That right now, in this very moment, you are broadcasting a signal. And that signal is shaping your entire reality. Your income, your relationships, your energy, your future. There's a secret most people never hear. A truth so powerful it was once called dangerous. A secret that doesn't live in textbooks or schools, but in your own mind. It was discovered by a man who decoded the most powerful law of success ever recorded, and he called it the strangest secret, not because it's hard to understand, but because almost no one dares to live by it. But if you do, if you really applied it, not just understood it intellectually, but lived it, it would begin to shift everything. Your finances, your confidence, your energy, your relationships, and your results. You'll never see the world the same way again. Because this isn't about luck. It's not about hustle. It's about understanding the one law that governs everything you manifest. And according to Earl Nightingale, this is what holds the key to every success, every failure, every breakthrough, and every limitation you'll ever experience. The strangest secret, one of the most influential manifesting texts ever recorded. And if you want to learn to manifest, not just hope or visualize or journal, but actually reshape your reality, then this idea is where you begin. So let's break this down, not as theory, but as a formula. Everything in your life right now, your habits, your results, your income, your mood, is the outcome of past thoughts. Thoughts repeated become beliefs. Beliefs shape behavior, and behavior creates results. If you want to change your outer world, you have to change the inner pattern that's generating it. That pattern is thought. But here's where most people go wrong. They think their thoughts are random. They think the mind is like a radio picking up signals from the world. But Earl Nightingale flipped that idea on its head. He said, "You are the broadcaster. The thoughts you consistently hold are shaping your world, like a signal going out, drawing back to you exactly what matches. If you think constantly about lack, you'll find more of it. If you dwell on fear, it will surround you. But if you hold your mind on growth, success, and service, you'll see those things begin to take shape." This isn't just positive thinking. Nightingale wasn't about wishful fantasies. He taught focus, repetition, direction. He taught that if you feed your mind a specific image every single day and align your actions with it, your mind will go to work on it with unstoppable momentum. So how do you apply this? It starts with a goal. In The Strangest Secret, Nightingale said that only about 5% of people ever set clear goals for themselves. The rest just drift through life. They hope for better, but they don't define what better looks like. And without direction, the mind wanders, energy scatters, nothing manifests. So ask yourself, what do you actually want? Not someday, not maybe. What do you want right now in the next 6 to 12 months of your life? It could be an income level, a business goal, a relationship, a lifestyle, a feeling, but it must be specific, clear, tangible. Once you have it, write it down on a small card, one sentence. Earl Nightingale called this your goal card, and he told people to carry it with them at all times. Look at it multiple times a day. Read it out loud, picture it vividly, and most importantly, begin to act like the kind of person who would achieve it. Why? Because repetition reprograms the subconscious mind. You don't manifest what you want, you manifest what you expect. The goal of all this repetition is to shift your identity from someone who hopes to someone who knows. At first, this might feel fake, but stay with it. Your nervous system doesn't know the difference between something vividly imagined and something real. The more you impress the goal on your subconscious, the more it begins to feel inevitable. And the moment it feels inevitable, your behavior begins to change. You speak differently. You move differently. You notice new opportunities. You handle challenges with more confidence. And slowly, the external world begins to align. But it all starts with what you think about. Not once, not twice, but day after day. Most people give up because they don't see instant change. But Nightingale made it clear. This is a law of cause and effect. The results lag behind the thinking. Like planting a seed, you don't see growth right away. But if you stop watering it, it dies. The people who get results are the ones who keep planting, keep watering, and trust the process. Another crucial part of this is protecting your mental environment. You cannot think one thing and constantly expose yourself to the opposite. If you're trying to manifest success but you're surrounded by negativity, gossip, fear, and complaints, your energy gets diluted. Nightingale said, "The mind moves in the direction of our currently dominant thought." That means you must guard your mind like a gatekeeper. What are you listening to in the morning? What conversations are you having? What content are you consuming? All of that is planting seeds. If the seeds don't align with your goal, you're slowing down your results. This is why he emphasized reading inspiring material every day, especially in the morning, because your first thoughts of the day are like setting a trajectory. A small shift early on can send you in an entirely different direction. And here's something else most people overlook. Nightingale tied manifestation to service. He taught that you get what you want by helping others get what they want. That success comes to those who focus not just on receiving, but on giving. Value, ideas, effort, creativity, help. This creates alignment. When your goal is connected to improving life for others, whether through your work, your business, your message, or your service, you tap into something bigger than personal desire. You activate flow, because manifestation isn't selfish. It's creative. It's expansive. It's about tuning into the highest version of yourself and expressing that outward. That's why this process is so much more than visualization. Visualization is part of it, but the real shift happens when you decide, this is who I am now. You stop waiting. You stop wishing. You become. You think the thoughts. You feel the feelings. You take the actions, and you persist long enough for the world to catch up. That's the power behind the strangest secret. It's not about magic. It's not about luck. It's about understanding this core truth. You become what you think about most of the time. So if you want to manifest a new life, you must first become the kind of person who thinks and lives in harmony with that life before it ever arrives. So now you understand. Your thoughts are the origin. But let's go deeper, because knowing that isn't enough. The real question is, how do you control what you think about most of the time? That's the challenge. You've been thinking a certain way for years, maybe decades. Those thoughts have grooves. They've formed habits in your brain. You can't just snap your fingers and replace them. But Earl Nightingale gave us the method. He said, start with 30 days. Not forever, not even a year. Just one clean, committed month to train your mind like you train a muscle. Focus your thoughts, reprogram your mental habits, and prove to yourself that you're in control. Most people won't do it, but the ones who do, they change. Here's how it works. First, pick your goal. One goal, something clear, specific, personal, something that excites you. It could be doubling your income, launching a new business, writing your first book, or waking up every day with joy and confidence. Once you've got it, write it down. Not on your phone, not in a document, on paper, physically, because writing activates the mind differently. It locks it in. Carry that goal with you everywhere. Read it morning and night. Read it when you're stuck in traffic. Read it when you feel doubt creep in. Read it until your mind starts to believe it as fact. Second, begin to act as if you've already achieved it. Not pretend, not fake it. Embody it. Ask yourself constantly, how would the version of me who already achieved this goal think, speak, walk, decide? Then start making micro decisions from that version of you. Not dramatic changes, just small daily shifts that realign you. This changes your frequency, not in a metaphysical way, but in a real behavioral sense. You begin to tune out distractions. You move with more purpose. You treat yourself with more respect. And others feel it too. The next step is mental discipline. This is where most people drop the ball. You must deliberately replace every negative or doubtful thought with something constructive. When fear shows up, you acknowledge it, but don't give it power. You redirect. Earl Nightingale said, our environment, the world in which we live and work, is a mirror of our attitudes and expectations. If your environment feels stuck, cluttered, or chaotic, look within. What thoughts are feeding it? You can't control every thought that pops into your head, but you can control what you dwell on. You can decide what gets to stay. Use affirmations to train your mind, not vague ones like, I am abundant, if you don't believe it. Start with something powerful but believable. Try, I am becoming more focused and aligned with my goals every day. Or my actions are bringing me closer to the life I desire. Repeat these out loud. Write them. Record them and listen back. Flood your mind with your chosen programming, because if you don't, the world will do it for you. And here's something most people miss. Your current reality may not change much in the first week, or even the second. You'll be tempted to quit. You'll say, this isn't working. But that's the test. Nightingale said that persistence is what separates the successful from the dreamers. Most people quit just before the results show up. They turn off the faucet without realizing the water was seconds away. When you feel nothing's happening, that's when the most is happening. The soil is stirring, the roots are forming, the inner shift is underway. Your job is to hold the image, hold the vision. Keep thinking like the person who has already arrived. Keep showing up like success is inevitable. Now let's talk about a key force that most people ignore when they try to manifest: decision. Nightingale said that the moment you make a firm decision, the universe begins to respond. And not in some mystical way, but in very real, tangible ways. The moment you commit fully, without backup plans, without maybe, you start to see things differently. You notice chances you used to overlook. You say no to things you used to accept. You move more quickly, your energy changes. Most people never decide. They want change, but they hesitate. They think, I'll try this for a while and see if it works. That's not a decision. That's a wish. Decide. Fully. Give the universe something to work with. Once you do, doors open. Now, manifestation isn't only internal. It requires external alignment too. That means showing up, taking action, doing the work. Earl Nightingale made it clear. You don't just sit around visualizing. You step into motion. You move toward the goal with energy, focus, and momentum, even if you can't yet see the whole path. You don't need to know how the entire staircase looks. You just need to take the next step. And every step builds belief. Every small win reinforces the truth. This is working. This is who I am now. Here's the magic. Once your mind believes a new identity, it finds ways to prove it right. You start taking bigger, bolder actions, not because someone told you to, but because it feels natural. That's the difference between forcing and flowing. When you become the version of you who deserves success, success starts moving toward you too. There's also a principle from The Strangest Secret that often gets overlooked: calm confidence. Nightingale's voice, his style, wasn't frantic or hyped. He spoke with calm certainty. He knew the law worked. He'd seen it again and again. And this is something you must develop too. Calm faith, not hype, not fake positivity, just the quiet inner knowing. I'm on my path. It's unfolding. Nothing can stop it but me. This energy is magnetic. People feel it. Opportunities respond to it. Doubt fades in its presence. So if you want to truly manifest, don't rush. Don't panic. Set your vision. Think about it constantly. Repeat it until it becomes real inside your mind. Take action from that energy and allow the process to unfold. You're not chasing something outside of you. You're becoming someone new, and your life is catching up. Now, one final piece, and this might be the most important. Your results will always reflect your identity, not your effort. You can work hard, you can hustle, you can try every strategy in the book. But if your self-image says, I'm not good enough, or I never follow through, or I always fall short, then no amount of action will override it. Earl Nightingale taught that your dominant thoughts become your beliefs. Your beliefs form your self-image. And that self-image is your ceiling. If you want a new reality, you must create a new identity. So don't just write goals. Ask, who do I need to become? Then live like that person, not someday. Now, this is what makes manifestation real. Not just a trend or a fantasy, but a daily process of identity creation. You train your mind, you feed it vision, you act with integrity, you serve others, and you persist. You water the seed until the harvest comes. This is not complicated, but it is rare because it requires consistency, courage, and faith. But when you do it, when you live it, you discover the truth that Nightingale shared all those years ago, a truth that echoes louder now than ever before. We become what we think about. So what are you thinking about today? And more importantly, who are you becoming?